Prepare to strike. Fighters ready. Engage.
6, 1, 4, 6, 1, 4, 6, 1, 4.
Welcome back to 614 Punch, the show about the fighting game community in Columbus, the people, the places, the players, and all that fun stuff. I'm Felicia, aka Kako Princess, and I co-host this show with.
Hey, I'm Travis, Perfidious Sin. Also, both of those.
And then we are here today for another special interview we have on the show. Today we are interviewing one of the coolest TOs in the Columbus scene, Compy.
Oh, thanks. How we doing?
All right, so why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, dude?
Okay. Well, I'm Compy. I'm a grumpy old man in FGC that decided to be a dumbass and start running fighting game tournaments and also streaming said fighting game tournaments.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So we're just gonna grill you for the next however long about you running the tournaments here.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so to kick it off, let's go all the way back to the beginning, a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Long time ago. Whew.
How did you get in the fighting games? Like, what is the first fighting game you remember playing and really getting into?
I feel like that's a little. That kind of question kind of depends. So, as far as getting into fighting games, when I was a kid, going to arcades, and at the arcade, I fell in love with Street Fighter 2. That was like the big thing when I was growing up. And then, I got a Super Nintendo, and of course, got Street Fighter 2, and all of the cool fighting games that came out in that era. So I'd say that that's what got me into fighting games and playing them in general. But I had no idea about the fighting game community until, of course, seeing the Daigo parry. So I saw that video and I was like, oh shit, people actually have tournaments for stuff. And so I went and looked it up, and then that in those days it was sure you can actually have the forums, and inside the forums they had like a page for your local community, and I found Columbus on there, and this was of course around the Street Fighter 4 era. So yeah, I'm one of the filthy 09ers.
Shoot, 09ers have 10 years of experience, so at this point we're OGs
I know
now.
That makes us yeah, we're old men. And technically I didn't actually go to a fighting game thing probably until 2010 though. But yeah. And being in Columbus, at that time everybody was playing Street Fighter 4. I did play a little Street Fighter 4, but I didn't love that game very much, and discovered our local Marvel vs. Capcom 2 scene. And that game, I was like, okay, this is sweet. And the rest is history, I guess.
So that kind of brings up a good point, because the next thing we're going to ask is, well, you're known for, one of the things you're known for is helping run a series called Get Off My Lawn, which focuses on older games.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say you generally prefer older games over newer ones?
Well, I also run Burst and Brews, and at Burst and Brews we do run modern games.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but in general.
Yes and no. When it comes to Capcom, yes. Outside of that, I play a lot of anime fighting games, so.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a. I would probably say there's more older games that I play just because of um my history in the fighting game scene, I guess, and like the people I hang out with. We tend to play a lot of random old games, so I probably play them more. But I definitely have a lot of fun playing anime games. And I know I said Capcom, but I do actually like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I like that game. It's a pretty good game. I have a hot take that I actually prefer that game over Marvel 3.
Ooh, that is a hot take. I like that. If you would have said, yeah, I like that. That's good.
I can totally understand it though. I'm one of those people that actually prefers 2v2 over 3v3s. So
Me too, actually. Yeah.
yeah, so I think in general I'd rather play
Oh, I wasn't going to go that far.
it's like when I play games where you could pick how many people are on your team, like the Capcom versus SNK series or Skullgirls. I realized that I always went with two-person teams. So when everybody was freaking out, it's like MVC Infinite is only gonna have two people teams, and I'm like, well, don't you think teams of three gets a little too chaotic at times?
Oh, I love that chaos. Marvel 2 is my first game, so there will never be another game like Marvel 2, in my opinion, which I think really sucks.
Basically,
But
your Marvel baby.
yeah, the original Marvel, but well, not the original, but
We get you. For most people, I think the original Marvel was Marvel 2.
yeah. I mean, I also like X-Men Street Fighter. That game's really sick.
Yeah, I was fine with Marvel Infinite being two people because I have bad dexterity, and I was like, all right, two people is a lot more manageable for me than three people. I don't have to destroy my hands doing these combos.
Yeah, that game's hard on your hands.
Even two people is rough, but three people is like I couldn't do it.
Right.
Speaking of X-Men versus Street Fighter, well, kind of sort of the first video game I ever saw an arcade machine of ever was Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, but I saw it in the weirdest place.
Oh,
I
oof.
saw it in the pool room of a hotel in Chicago.
Okay, that is pretty weird.
I know. It's like I wanted to play on it, but I think my uncle said something on the lines of I'd probably get shocked because the water from my hands would get into the buttons. I mean, maybe that's just me remembering it correctly, but that's something I kind of remember about it.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit. We're saying you like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but like of the current batch of fighting games, like what games are you really liking of the new era, like the current stuff?
Of the current era, I would probably put Marvel Infinite up there as probably like my favorite of the bunch. Number 6 is pretty fun. I like Tekken 7, but I'm very casual when it comes to Tekken. 3D games in general, I'm really casual, but I have fun messing around with Tekken a little bit. I had fun playing Mortal Kombat 11 also, but I need to like actually play it more. Same with Sam Show. Sam Show is definitely up my alley.
Yeah, I was really enjoying Sam Show. I think
Yeah.
I like Mortal Kombat 11. Like to keep on the topic of anime games and stuff, I think that game feels a lot like an anime game with the mechanics they introduced.
Really?
I got that
Yeah,
vibe more from Injustice 2 personally, but I think it was also just when the button layout I used for Injustice 2 was basically like a a anime style game where it's ABC at the top and then D where your light kick button would go.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like Mortal
So
Kombat
like
11 having perfect blocking and like a bunch of meters. It's like I don't know. I just got a real anime game vibe from that. Like there's a burst.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I got it a little more with Injustice 2, but I definitely see the comparison at least from system mechanics. But when it comes to like feel, I don't really get that vibe. But Injustice 2, I got that vibe more in the feel in play, I guess. because it almost kind of is like Blaze Blue in the sense of, hey, I have ABC, and you might as well call the trait button drive.
Yeah, trade is like drive. Yeah.
So like that game kind of felt it a lot more to me of the newer games, but which I do kind of like that game a little bit too. I'd probably say those are probably the main games new wise that I like. I'll casually play like Under Night, but only casually. When I start playing somebody who actually like really plays that game, I'm not a fan.
So basically, you wouldn't want to take on Juicy. You'd want to take on someone like me instead, because I have no idea what I'm doing as much as you do, and you
Yeah.
Dude, we could play. I have 2 good Eltnum combos, and those carry me
there you go.
to moderate victory sometimes.
There you go. I have a couple of Wagner combos and a couple Markava combos and Byakuya.
I got a couple good combos from Taco Bell. Does that count?
I like that none of us I'm not good at this character. I can do like 2 combos though.
Right. Right. I have a couple combos. It makes me an expert, right?
Yeah. So another thing you're very well known for in the scene, aside from hosting event tournaments and whatnot, is you stream them. So what would you say are some of the things you enjoy the most about? Now, technically, Travis just wrote streaming FGC tournaments, but I want to also ask, what do you enjoy most about hosting them as well? So, hosting and streaming like Bursts and Brews, or helping with stuff like Cap City Cruise, which, as of this recording, is the other day.
So as far as streaming, I hate it. It's a blow up.
It really is.
Being really honest here, I like it.
But yeah, there's just like so many things that can go wrong streaming. But I don't know. It's fun like when you have that good stream and there's no issues and everything looks good, sounds good, whatever. It's rewarding, I guess and it's also nice when I can chill and commentate with somebody who like kind of knows what they're doing commentary wise, and I can stream and just kind of chat with them and get to actually watch some like good gameplay. So like that part of streaming I like. Hosting is just getting everybody together to play games, and for me personally, if you like the events I run typically focus on what I would say like gaps in our community. In my actual day-to-day job, I'm a business analyst, so I have to look for gaps and fill them, and that's kind of where I see myself as a tournament organizer.
So you're kind of like running tournaments for games that you don't think get enough shine, is what you're saying.
Basically.
Okay.
Or like say Cap City Cruise, for example, nobody runs team tournaments. So I put an all team tournament together,
Right, yeah, most of the stuff we do is like just basic double elimination brackets. I think we do need more variety in the FGC with like team tournaments and especially Waseda style and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the team thing. So that's actually something I wanted to do that for a long time, was put together a team tournament. It's still not where I want it, but it was our first one, so we got a lot of growth to do. And it definitely, I don't think I could do that particular event without the help of our team, which I finally have a team now, which is nice. Before, for so long, it's been me, the one-man crew. But now with the team, with Zion and Maxim Ace, like I felt comfortable doing that team event and putting more modern games on there. Therefore, more players.
Yeah.
So I feel good about doing that, having a team now. And it was a lot of fun to me, that just getting people together. Team tournaments are a blast to me. Like, I have a lot of fun playing in team tournaments. And then, obviously for the weekly, there's not very many places that run just anime focused weekly events. And that was something I wanted to do. And I'm especially happy with how we did our last season. And I want to kind of do a similar thing for our upcoming season, where we had, two current anime games and then two legacy anime games, if you will. I thought that was really cool, and I would do that again.
Yeah, I think you had I'm blanking on the name, but it was the older Guilty Gear game. Help me
Yeah,
out
we
here.
had Plus R.
Okay, yeah, and you were getting really good entrance for that. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was great. I love that's like I like the OG Guilty Gear is a ton of fun.
When you say OG Guilty Gear, do you mean like Guilty Gear 98 OG?
Is there a Guilty Gear 98?
Well, 98 was when the original one came out, which is why I said that to Beast.
Oh, I thought you were saying it in like a KOF 98 type thing. Well, more so like for me, getting into Guilty Gear was more like around Accent Core. So I guess that's not quite OG, because I know there's like.
I get you. I guess that kind of answers one of the other questions we had, so I guess we might as well skip to it. So you said you started Burst and Brews mostly because you felt like there wasn't like a good weekly anime series. What was there anything else that went into the idea of that? And what made you decide to host it specifically at level 1 and work with the people there?
Well, so with level 1, it was kind of a lot of things that went into play. So there, at the time we started Burst and Brews, they were a new arcade, and Slayer KFK, he's a really good friend of mine, and he had a job there, and he was like, long before me and Slayer and some other people, Thu, we did like a little arcade thing. And we had people come through and play random games, and we ran random tournaments for fun, basically. And the venue died. Unfortunately, it was like straight up underground arcade, basically, and it went away. But I had me and Slayer talked, and man, it would be cool to actually like just run events somewhere, have a venue, that type of thing. And when level 1 was coming around, they're like, man, they kind of wanted to get events there. And I also their manager DJ, he a long time ago he was pretty active in the fighting game community, and he was a friend of mine also in the fighting game community. And so he was like, hey, you guys should run events. The bar wanted me to run Street Fighter 5, and I said, if you're gonna run Street Fighter 5, that's putting you in competition with 2 other locals, and I just don't see that doing very well. Why don't we run Guilty Gear instead? I was like, that's probably the next most popular game, so let's do it. And they were like, okay, fine. And then they gave me full reign to do everything I needed for it, and here we are.
So you said level 1 is a how long have they been around? Like, were they just built kind of in the past couple of years, or?
Probably like 4 years or so now.
Oh, so they're really new. I didn't know. I
Yeah,
thought
they're
they'd been
pretty
there
new.
for a while.
Like 3 or 4 years, something like that.
I used to work at the movie theater a couple doors down from where level 1 is, and I didn't remember seeing it when I worked there. So that definitely is a recent thing, because I worked at that theater like 2014 and 2015, and I don't remember seeing the barcade. I remember getting Chipotle like once a month though, but that's a different story.
Right.
Okay, yeah, so they are a newer place. That's really cool that they collaborated with you and they're like that they were cool with you not running Street Fighter because yeah, we had at that point we had a Monday and Tuesday weekly in our local scene, and it would have been like, are people going to come out 3 days a week to play Street Fighter? Probably not.
Right. I think that would have been a very hard sell. So, and we're kind of getting there. Like we have 3 locals. It's a lot for people. And I think we're adding a 4th now. So, goodness.
It does end up working out because like all the game, every local is pretty different. Like they're all different games. So
Yeah, that's the one good thing.
there's generally aren't people. There's like one person isn't going to go through all 4 weeklies or all 3 at this point.
Right.
So you did talk a bit about some of the challenges that come from streaming. You said sometimes it's just hard to get that flow going. What would you say are some of the things that usually come up when you're streaming or hosting that just makes you go, ugh, this again, or just some of the challenges you have to overcome in general?
Well, the streaming, the one thing that's like really annoying stream wise, particularly with like retro and stuff, is there's just a ton of equipment involved, and you have to almost like with retro, if something's messing up, you have to figure out where in your setup it's messing up. So you have to kind of troubleshoot that a little bit. The other big thing is audio is just really easy to have issues with. It's a lot better when you're using things like mixers and so on. That makes it significantly easier. That would be like my big stream tip for people is if you're having nightmares with audio, just get a mixer.
Oh, yeah, mixers are wonderful for stuff like that.
Yeah. As far as events, oh God, anything can go wrong. So you can have the stream, and that sometimes the streamer will want to get the TO involved in that, that because everybody wants their tournament streamed. The other thing, running behind on stuff, that always happens. Especially, the FGC likes to run on FGC Central Time. So you have to, there's not much you can do about that,
like
especially for local stuff. It happens all the time. Everybody, we start the tournament. So like Cap City, we set the time for 1:00. Nobody showed up until 1:00, even though I put on there, venues open at noon. Everybody still shows up at 1, and of course there's a registration and payment process. So what's that mean? You can't start at 1. Everybody's just now getting here. So
Nobody knows the old saying, to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late, as
right.
Ludwig II once said.
Yeah, so you'll have things like that. Another big challenge that you'll have with events is you always have those players who like to play every game, and that can definitely hold up your bracket.
Yeah.
And there's just not a lot you can do about it.
Cap City, it seemed like every 5 minutes, either you or Zion was like yelling about a player who was stuck playing another game. We were like, ah!
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to deal
especially with teams, it's a little more of a challenge. Because you're waiting on 2 people, not 1 or 3, So it's a little more of a challenge in those situations for a team tournament, but
at least you didn't have to deal with anything as crazy as Vic Viper at Combo Breaker this year, 2019.
I had a bracket get Vic Vipered before. I'm no stranger to getting Vic Vipered.
Yeah.
So is there anything that would like help you run a tournament or stream smoother? Like is there a piece of equipment, like some magical equipment you could buy that would alleviate all your stream issues? Or is it just like user error and waiting for people at this point?
Oh, for like streaming?
Yeah. Is there anything that
for
would
s-
like help you improve your stream or like help streams run better?
Well, I mean, for streaming in general, it's just the better equipment you have that helps. Net stuff. Just having everything. Um, I think it's for streaming if the less convoluted your stream setup, the better.
Yeah, for sure. And you have to carry less stuff at the end of the night too.
Right. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's really any magic device to make streaming not a blow up, especially for like retro. Old cables die. So having backup cables, that's
To quote another musician, always have a backup for your backup. That's something David Lee
right.
For real.
I mean, that's the main thing for streams, having backups. But I mean, sometimes you just kind of have backups. That's it.
roll with the punches. Yeah.
So I sort of remember you telling me about this a couple weeks ago, but is there any like new equipment or like new tech that you use to stream older games? Like I know you're using things. You run a lot of the older games like Vampire Savior off of arcade boards, but
Right.
is there like any new tech in that type area that would help you run old games?
So I am on a pre-order for the CPS2 HDMI mod.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, so for my Darksoft, for those who don't know, Darksoft board is a little add-on board you can buy for your CPS2. CPS2 is the popular Capcom arcade hardware that things like Vampire Savior, Super Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha, etc. They're all on CPS2. And what the Darksoft allows you to do is it is a add-on board that gives you every game that was ever on the CPS2. So it basically makes it like a multi board for all of the CPS2 games. And it's the real hardware. So you're not like emulating anything. It's all just the real deal hardware. Every Capcom CPS2 game ever made on one board. So for my Darksoft modded board, I'm getting the HDMI mod installed. But I have to wait for I'm on a pre-order for it, so whenever that comes, that will help tremendously. Having a HDMI output is really handy for capture cards.
Mm-hmm.
So are you running on when you run the tournaments at the weeklies like Vampire Savior, are you running those on HDTVs or are they CRTs right now?
Well, so when we do Burst and Brews Vampire Savior, because you have to think for Burst and Brews, we have a very small window to run things, and due to numbers and all that, we just run PS3 for it.
Okay, just on the
Burst and
PS3
Brews.
version. Gotcha.
Yeah, for Burst and Brews specifically. But when we ever do like a weekend Burst and Brews or anything on the weekend, like at Cap City, that was all arcade. So whenever we do weekend stuff there, yeah, we definitely run it on the arcade hardware. And when we're running it off the arcade hardware, we usually bring in a PVM. That's a professional video monitor. They're basically high-end CRTs that give you. Somebody needs to turn off their Discord notifications, by the way. I
Not
keep
it.
hearing. Yeah, it's just going crazy with the beeps.
Okay, I got a way to turn it off. Shoot.
If you go into your notifications, you have a server turned on.
Notifications. Okay.
We're all learning a lot today.
Yeah, just
Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. Sorry about that.
It's okay. But anyway, yeah, so the PV, it's still on.
Notifications off. What gives? Oh my goodness. Hold on.
You don't want it blue.
Sounds.
You might have to mute the server.
It's making new noises now.
I know, it's going crazy. Oh, goodness.
Off.
Oh. Oh.
He's playing a whole song.
Okay. Okay. Now, nobody message me for the next 5 minutes.
Got you.
This is the most professional podcast on the FGC you will ever hear.
We're figuring it out. We're only 10 episodes in. We're figuring it out.
We're true professionionals.
I would
Okay.
just mute every server you're in, and then you're good.
Okay. Keep it going, Compy.
Okay. But yeah, so PVM, like I said, it's a really nice CRT, gives you RGB video. So your arcade games and your old consoles, they look really nice on them, basically. And they also make streaming a little bit easier because a lot of PVMs also have an output. So you can take the output and you don't need a splitter. You just hook up the output to wherever you're running your video. In my case, and most people I know who do retro, they're running that output into something like a OSSC, which that's a device that lets you take RGB video and convert it to HDMI. So that way you can put an HDMI signal into your capture card. And it upscales too, so it's nice. So it takes like a you can do like line 2x, etc., to make it look sharper and better.
See, that's good because like I feel like a lot of like my TV doesn't even have RGB, so like the move to HDMI does make a lot of sense.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like just for recording, it just makes it a lot easier,
Right.
in general, and it looks better. So at least on the capture card.
Makes you wonder what they use when you see tournaments hosted on actual cabinets. Like I saw a while back a Virtua Fighter 2 tournament from Japan. Like the tournament was uploaded to YouTube, but there was like a live stream with cameras on the player for the actual game footage, and it was one of those where each person got to play on one side. And I was wondering, wonder what they're using to stream this.
Yeah, so for something like that, they're probably using. And then they also there's like JAMA to RGB video connections that they can use, and then you can take that RGB video and pump it into a capture card. That's how you would do it. My capture card can take right from an arcade directly.
Nice.
But I don't do that.
All right, I guess just to wind down here, so for the future of Burst and Brews, do you have any long-term goals that you want to hit? Like, do you want to get 100-man bracket at the tournament? What do you want to do? What's coming?
Oh, hell no, please.
I don't know if the bar could fit 100 people, to be honest.
I'm too old for all that, man. I don't want all that stress in my life. That's why I don't run Smash.
Yeah, for real.
Well, yeah, if you're running Smash, the old man has to deal with all the little children that don't know how to use deodorant in their shower.
I wasn't going to make any disses like that. I was just saying I'm not trying to deal with 100-man bracket.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that might be a fire hazard in that location, to be honest.
Right. But as far as Bursts and Brews, for me, the goals I have, I just want to keep giving the AFGC in Columbus a place they can play, and their games are respected and treated as the main event, because it's not something we typically have for AFGC stuff.
Mhm.
And then, the more people playing, the better. I do like that. Let's just not try and do like 100 people.
Yeah, more people, but less than 100.
yeah. How about that?
99 is okay, but 100 is too many.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far.
Sure. Well,
That's the strong.
but I don't know. I want to, better prizes if possible. If we outgrow the space, we outgrow the space. I really like our space though, so I don't really see that. And just number wise, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But it would be nice to have bigger and better prizes for our season winners and stuff like that.
Are you just money prizes, or would you be like hoping to be able to give out things like gift cards or like an actual?
Well, we
We've
give a
flown
gift
players
card
out before, actually.
Yeah, I have paid for 2 people to go to see Otaku.
Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I forgot you did that. That's right. I always
Yeah.
so terribly at like Burst and Brews. I'd never have a chance of getting the prizes. That's why I never paid attention.
Fair. But we did that before. Prize the top. That cost me a lot of money. But yeah, I like giving back to the AFGC in Columbus, so better prizes are always fun. I want to do more weekend events, and now we're at a place where they're letting me do more weekend events at the venue. So I guess keep your eye out for that. We're gonna have some more weekend bursts and brews, and that's probably mostly my goals for bursts and brews. As far as other things I run, I do kind of have get off my lawn a little on the back burner right now. I would like to do it more, but I think it's just hard getting a bunch of old grumpy FGC dudes together on a regular basis.
Or is
Yeah.
it harder to get the young kids off your lawn, which is tougher?
Right.
Well, that is the thing where like a lot of us have pretty busy schedules, and like I know for tournaments, if I'm going to go to a tournament, I want to know like 3 weeks in advance or a month. So you kind of have to plan that out far in advance for people.
Right. And then I do know, so like lately, or as of recently, I've been doing more all Marvel focused events, and I miss my Marvel homies, so I think it's about due for me to put another one of those together. So I think that's something I definitely want to do. I know. Yeah, I think that I did charity events before too. I would like to do. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to see an event where all 4 of the actual Marvel versus games are represented. And I want it to be called something silly like Marvel Baby, so people could say, "What event are you going to this weekend?" It's Marvel Baby. Yeah, I know you're playing Marvel, but what's the event?
I mean, my Marvel event last year did have MVC1, MVC2, MVC3, and MVCI.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I did that last year, so
I probably missed it. I was probably too like stressed out from Chipotle to notice because I was probably still working there at the time.
fair enough. We had a good turnout. It was nice. So, yeah, I definitely want to do that again. And then Cap City, I want to grow that more and more. So
That was a lot of fun.
yeah,
I think
so
one of the problems with esports is you have to appeal to everybody, so a lot of the formats and whatnot have to be so basic. Whereas with the locals, you can have more variety. You have Cap City, you have Tekken Caliber, you have Salty Sunday, which I really hope Keys does again soon. Like just those more out there events where it's not commercial. It's just, okay, we're gonna do something crazy. Let's see how it goes.
right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun throwing Cap City Cruise, so I definitely want to do that again.
So you said you want to get more people like bigger prizes and giveaways. I don't know if giveaways are the right word, but have you thought of looking into like I don't know, using like your stream subscription money or like doing Matcherino to like help pay people up?
I actually did a lot. I tested out Matcherino for a Burst and Brews once, and honestly, it wasn't very successful for us. I think you have to have a lot of clout to make Matcherino work, I
So just
That
guess.
makes sense.
selling bathwater and you'll get all the clout you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just buy this jar of bathwater and donate $10 to the pot.
Right.
For context, the people getting STDs from drinking the bathwater happened.
That's not a real thing.
It's not happening.
Yeah, that's not a real thing.
That was actually. Oh wait, that was fake.
Yes.
Oh wait, the STD part or the actual drinking part?
None of that's confirmed. All right, so we know that. All right, this might be. I don't know if this will probably still be relevant by the time this comes out. But there's this cosplayer girl who is selling her bathwater online, and yeah, it's hot in the streets right now. It's buying bathwater.
Yeah.
People have thought.
I ain't gonna knock the hustle. I respect it.
I definitely respect it, but we don't.
Yeah.
There are no documented cases of people drinking it.
Yeah,
it
there's
probably
not.
happened, but we don't know.
I mean, I don't even think you can transfer like that.
Who knows? But yeah, it seems like the internet loves seeing money getting thrown around, but the internet doesn't like to actually throw out the money, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like streamers love to see like when Knuckle Do actually made it rain while walking onto the stage at CEO, I think last year or something like that. But people don't like actually donating to the streams because it's like everybody thinks at least I think this is just Americans, but Americans think that entertainment should be free half the time. They don't like paying for anything.
I mean, that's the FGC also. I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I probably should. Like for me personally, I'm like I don't focus on streaming. I have like thankfully I have like a really good stream setup for somebody who doesn't focus on it. But I don't know, I probably should focus more on it than I do, and I think it's something I kind of want to do more of. But for me, my primary focus, to be honest, is giving people a place to play games they might not normally get.
Yeah, just running the tournaments right now is the motive.
Yeah, that's why like for Cap City would have been a nightmare if I had to stream.
Oh yeah. We actually we got assists from Matchstick Melee and Vampire Arcadia, so shout out to them.
Yes. And
when we get to interview Matt eventually, hear his side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did a good job. I know he was having some audio issues with Super Turbo.
I remember that.
Shout outs to Analog Equipment. Like I said, those are always challenges, but it is what it is.
It makes me. I think the fun part of interviewing him is going to be because he looks so cool and calm when he's streaming. But I wouldn't be surprised if, because I always felt you were the same way, Compy. Like it looks like you had everything together, but like you said, like in the back of your mind, just like, oh, I hope this doesn't fail. And I'm sure that is going to be the same way when we talk to him eventually.
Well, when I was like early on streaming, I had this shitty ass mixer and it ruined my life and gave me so many problems.
Are you talking about that Multi-Mix 8 or did you have something before that?
Something before that.
Oh.
It was like a Leases or whatever. I don't know. It was stupid. It sucked. But I have a Mackie, and then I also have a the Mackie is great. Like audio sounds phenomenal on that, but that's like a big ass fucking mixer, and you know, it's a pain in the ass to carry, but it sure sounds great. But I have a little Yamaha that's like really tiny and fit. I have like one bag that can fit all my gear. It's perfect for locals, and I still get, the XLR headsets and all that good stuff with it. So it's a nice, convenient device.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just to wrap it up, is there anything else to add? Anything, or anyone you want to plug before we get out of here?
So yeah, I guess like if I'm gonna add anything, one, fairly recently, a member of our community, Pat, Emba Kemp, passed away. Unfortunately, he was really one of the nicest guys I've ever met in our community. He was a regular at Person Brews, alongside his brother Jason Jedem. One of the sweetest guys I've ever met, man. That dude's just like super nice, and unfortunately, he passed away. Like due to complications and stuff with like cancer, and yeah, he was a really good dude, and he was only I think like 30 years old or something like that. So that was pretty sad, and I don't know, maybe it would be cool to do something for him also, but yeah, rest in peace, Pat, and obviously my condolences to his family as well, and Jason.
Maybe for that you were talking about, maybe raise some money for his family or something.
They did have a GoFundMe, and I donated to that, and from like it gives you emails or whatever. It looks like they met their goal there, so maybe it'd be better to do like a maybe like a memorial event. I know Cirque was kind of talking about something like that. So maybe more so a charity to like cancer or something, but in honor of Pat. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Other than that, play the games you love. Who cares about esports? All you need is like two people, and you have a scene. You can build it from there. Play what you love. Fuck esports. Esports is whack.
It is pretty whack with all the drama that goes on, like on Twitter and whatnot. I'm glad to be able to just go to locals and be like, you know what? I could just shut off Twitter and I can just play games with my friends. And we really have to thank guys like you, Compy, for making that happen in the scene. So thank you.
You're welcome.
But here's the most important thing to conclude with: who's funnier, Travis or me?
Oh goodness.
Wow, no, we're gonna cut this. Cut all this. Sign us out. We're out of here. We're not gonna destroy the podcast 9 episodes in.
I think the Discord notifications did.
All right, sign us out. We're out of here.
Okay, I guess.
All right.
See to everybody. Once again, Compy, thank you very much for being on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and big thank you to all the listeners. This has been Felicia, aka Kako Princess, and
oh yeah, it's Travis. I'm out of here. See ya.
Bye.
Take care. Have a good one, and don't
You
do
too.
anything stupid. At least not without us, because we want to have fun.
Right. Does the robot sign you off too?
Yeah, he'll make a noise.